Can you believe he started with that? Mr. Jerome Bolton expresses doubts about the paternity of Ms. Beto's 7-month-old daughter, Ileana, questioning if he is the biological father due to her appearance. Ms. Beto is furious about the DNA test request, feeling it has disrupted their previously happy home. The audience reacts sympathetically as Mr. Bolton shares his emotional attachment to Ileana, despite his doubts. Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, the next moment takes it up a notch.
You say you were furious when the defendant asked you for a DNA test on your 7-month-old daughter. Now you claim that request has broken up your happy home. You state you have reason to believe Ms. Beto's child may not be your biological daughter. You are desperate to discover the truth because you've already grown to love her as your own.
Imagine coming back to court under these circumstances. The episode references Mr. Bolton's previous court appearance concerning another child, where he was found not to be the father. Mr. Bolton recounts the delivery of Ileana, where a doctor's remark about the baby's light complexion deepened his paternity concerns, leading to tension and audience shock. The reaction in the courtroom sets the stage for an even more shocking revelation up next.
So what has happened since you were last here?
Last time I was in court, I was very devastated to find out the news about the young boy not being mine. In the same sense, I was happy because Ms. Beto was pregnant with a child, supposed to be mine. When the baby was born, I cut the umbilical cord, the doctors wiped the baby off. Ms. Beto, the baby, at first. She gave the procedure to deliver the baby. He handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor, I'm like...
You won't believe what they discuss next. Ms. Beto defends the baby's complexion by explaining their mixed racial backgrounds, which include Dominican, Puerto Rican, and Black heritages. She details familial traits like changing eye colors, challenging the basis of Mr. Bolton's doubt. The conversation shifts to a broader discussion of racial characteristics and family genetics. Hang on, because the next part adds another layer to their story.
We're mixed. I'm Dominican and Black. He's Puerto Rican and Black. People in my family have different color eyes. My eyes are hazel. My father's eyes are green. He told me that when he was a young boy, when he was a baby, as a matter of fact, his eyes were blue and then they turned green. So I don't see where the doubt is because people continuously said, "Oh, she's so white. What's wrong with that?"
The tension escalates here. Mr. Bolton narrates various instances where friends, family, and even strangers express surprise about the baby's paternity due to her skin color and eye color, which exacerbates his doubts. Each comment about Ileana's appearance from external individuals adds to his insecurity, discussed in the court amidst audience reactions. The courtroom is buzzing, but it's nothing compared to what's coming next.
I didn't have any doubts until the doctor said something. When we brought Ileana home from the hospital, we had friends and family come over to see the baby, then looking at the baby like, "Oh, she's beautiful. Is she yours?"
That's not what they said, Your Honor. What they were saying, maybe on his, but my side, they did make some comments. I see him all the time in her. I see a little bit of my features, but mostly I see him.
Things get really heated now. The couple discusses a previous breakup due to Mr. Bolton's infidelity, during which Ms. Beto admits to having slept with another man, further fueling Mr. Bolton's paternity doubts. This confession leads to a heated exchange about trust, loyalty, and the implications of their actions on their relationship and Mr. Bolton's doubts. As the tension mounts, the upcoming reveal will leave everyone speechless.
We actually broke up last year around August. It was due to infidelity on his behalf.
The whole time that I was cheating, I got a couple of buddies. I cheated, I did, and I meant to that. She left.
I'm gonna confront, and when I found the information, and me and the woman, we also talked, because man will lie to you, or anyone that's gonna play that deceit is gonna make you believe whatever. So I talked to the woman, and I believe her. That's right, I did sleep with somebody, but I did it the right way. I left you first. I was single.
Nothing could prepare you for this conclusion. The DNA results reveal
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Bolton, you are her father.
Que yo dice, but what I tell you.
The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as Ms. Brown steps up to the plate. Ms. Brown opens her case by emphasizing the importance of her 1-year-old daughter, Sania's future, declaring her intent to prove Mr. Rutledge's paternity. She passionately stresses the necessity of having both parents involved in Sania's life, noting that Mr. Rutledge has only seen their daughter once. Just when you think it's all serious, the courtroom drama dials up a notch.
Ms. Brown, you say the only thing that matters to you today is the future of your 1-year-old daughter, Sania. You state you're here to prove the defendant, Mr. Rutledge, is her biological father because she needs 2 parents, yet he's seen her only once in her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here comes the curveball from Mr. Rutledge's side of the field. Mr. Rutledge challenges Ms. Brown's claims by suggesting that other men could also be the child's father, highlighting doubts about paternity. His sister's involvement in the case is hinted at, setting up a complex family dynamic and more testimonial fireworks. Brace yourself. There's a plot twist coming right up.
Mr. Rutledge, you say despite Ms. Brown's denial, there are indeed other men who could be her child's father. Your sister, Ms. Rutledge, is also involved in this case, and we'll hear more from her shortly.
You could hear a pin drop as Mr. Rutledge drops a bombshell about Ms. Brown's past relationships with his family. Mr. Rutledge reveals Ms. Brown's previous relationships with his relatives, including a one-night stand with his cousin and an alleged pregnancy scam involving his brother. This jaw-dropping disclosure sends shockwaves through the audience and casts a shadow of doubt over Ms. Brown's credibility regarding the true paternity of her child. Buckle up because the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
Me and Ms. Brown was never in a relationship. It was only sexual relationship. I met Ms. Brown. She was seeing my cousin. They was dating. After they broke up, they split up, whatever. She got with my other cousin. Had a one-night stand with him, got with my brother. Now, let me tell you that. When she got with my brother, she ran the same story on my brother and told my brother that she was pregnant by him. Tells my brother that, oh, I need you to give me money for a morning after pill.
Ms. Brown comes back swinging with a strong defense of her past and current relationship with Mr. Rutledge. Ms. Brown defends her character and relationship history with Mr. Rutledge, challenging his portrayal of their relationship as merely sexual. She calls him out on his recent disappearance, accusing him of reconnecting with the mother of one of his other children. The stakes are high, and just when you think it's all out in the open, there's more to come.
Started even messing with each other because we had mutual friends. We were around each other. He had a chance to get to know me and everything, and as you can see, he still decided to have contact with me, so obviously I couldn't have been that much of a bad person. And he claims that we were just friends and we were never, he was always at my house until he went missing for like 4 days, and you know, I didn't know where he was at because usually he would at least text me or call me even if he didn't come over, and like out of nowhere, like for 4 days straight, I didn't hear from him or anything. And he came back out of nowhere, new sneakers, dressed and everything. Now,
in a plot twist no one saw coming, Ms. Brown recounts the saga of her pregnancy announcement to Mr. Rutledge's family. Ms. Brown recounts how she first informed Mr. Rutledge's sister about her pregnancy and his initial disbelief. She details Mr. Rutledge's reluctance to embrace the pregnancy and his push for an abortion, showcasing his hesitance to take on fatherly duties. The next chapter in this saga is even more gripping.
So, when you found out you were pregnant, you told Mr. Rutledge?
I told his sister first.
So you told his sister first?
Yes.
How did that conversation go?
Told her I was pregnant, kind of was in shock and stuff, and she just let me know, like, you know, you do know, like, if you decide to keep this baby, it's a chance that you're gonna go through it by yourself. Told her that I was pregnant. After I told her, I called Mr. Rutledge. I called him and let him know, like, yes, I'm pregnant.
Tempers flare and the gloves come off in a no-holds-barred exchange of accusations. A heated exchange unfolds as accusations about threats and irresponsible statements concerning the child's well-being are hurled back and forth. This confrontation exposes the deep emotional rift between Ms. Brown and Mr. Rutledge and their respective families, setting the stage for even more jaw-dropping revelations. Get ready for the emotional fireworks that follow.
She said, I hope the baby dies. I'm not gonna tell you what she told me about my kid. She came to my mom's house, said she was gonna leave her daughter on the doorstep of my mom. I said, don't do that because I'm not there, no one's there. She said, I don't care, man, I'm coming there. She took a picture of the door and sent it to my phone.
I did not. The day that I took the picture of his door was not the day that I so-called told him something like that. I came to his house because me and him.
As the DNA results are about to be disclosed, everyone in the courtroom leans in. The DNA test results are revealed.
In the case of Brown versus Rutledge, when it comes to 1-year-old Saniyah Rutledge Brown, Mr. Rutledge, it has been determined by this court that you are her father.
What? Now what? What y'all gotta say? Exactly. I thought that's what y'all had to say.
The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Ms. Brewington stepped forward, ready to drop a truth bomb. Ms. Brewington opens her case, stating her intent to prove that Mr. Lee is the biological father of her 3-year-old son, Giovanni. She argues that Mr. Lee has denied paternity to avoid child support responsibilities, even though he has acted as Giovanni's father since his birth. The stakes are high, and you won't believe what's coming next.
Ms. Brewington, you are here to prove your 3-year-old son, Giovanni, is Mr. Lee's biological child, and you claim Mr. Lee has been a father to your son since the day he was born and is denying paternity because he wants to avoid.
Yes, Your Honor.
Brace yourself. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, Mr. Lee grabs the mic. Mr. Lee counters Ms. Brewington's claims by asserting he has always known Giovanni was not his son. He accuses Ms. Brewington of lying and using him for financial gain, setting the stage for a contentious courtroom debate. The gloves are off, folks, and it's about to get even wilder.
Mr. Lee, you say you've known from day one Giovanni was not your son, and you are here to prove Ms. Brewington is a liar liar and has been using you for money.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll need to sit down for this one. The atmosphere thickened as Mr. Lee vehemently denied any romantic ties at the time of conception. The confrontation heats up with Mr. Lee denying any relationship with Ms. Brewington at the time of Giovanni's conception, despite them living together. Ms. Brewington humorously contradicts him, highlighting their shared bed and household, which evokes laughter from the audience. Hold on to your seats because this roller coaster is nowhere near stopping.
I want to know why you have doubt.
At the time that Gio was conceived, we were not having no type of intercourse. We were not.
You don't believe you were working on the relationship at the time Giovanni was conceived.
No, not at all.
I was living with him. We were living in the same household, in the same bed.
Were you living in the same house?
Around the time, yes.
But you weren't together. So were you sharing a bed?
Yes, ma'am.
And fluid.
Things take a surprising twist as Ms. Brewington recounts her unexpected pregnancy revelation. Ms. Brewington recounts discovering her pregnancy during a routine visit for birth control, which surprised Mr. Lee. He skeptically bought multiple pregnancy tests, all of which confirmed the pregnancy, leading to his denial and claims they had not been intimate. The drama escalates from here, so get ready for a jaw-dropping turn of events at the birth.
Found out that I was pregnant. I actually went to the doctor to just re-up on my birth control. So I went ahead, they did a pregnancy test. It came up positive. I told him, he did not believe me at all. He went out and got 3 pregnancy tests, made me take all of them. They were all positive. And he was like, well, that's not my baby because we didn't have sex.
You won't believe the audacity. The courtroom gasped at Mr. Lee's audacious claims about Ms. Brewington's weight. As Ms. Brewington prepares for Giovanni's birth, Mr. Lee tells others she is just gaining weight from fast food, not pregnant. His denial persists even as she goes into labor, further complicating their relationship and casting doubt on his role in Giovanni's life. But just wait, the hospital scene is up next and it's a real doozy.
Throughout this pregnancy, as you prepare for the birth of Giovanni, was Mr. Lee present?
He was telling people I was just getting fat. He was like, she just eats a lot of fast food. Everybody was my friends were rubbing my stomach. I'm showing ultrasounds to people. He's like, don't believe her, she's just fat. The entire time. I'm talking about, I'm going into labor. He's like, no, you're not.
What kind of denial is this? Mr. Lee, you taking denial far.
Exactly.
And just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Lee throws us a curveball at the hospital. Despite earlier denials, Mr. Lee quickly changes his tune at the hospital following Giovanni's birth. He signs the birth certificate and even insists on naming the boy, actions that contradict his previous denials and disbelief about the pregnancy. Buckle up because the DNA test results are about to shake things up even more.
So take me to the day you gave birth to Giovanni. Was Mr. Lee there?
He came after I had given birth because he had work. He actually didn't even, they asked about the birth certificate and everything. He signed the birth certificate. He named my son. He was like, no, I'm not letting you give my son no dumb name. I actually told him to, I was like, you don't want to wait? I offered the DNA test in the hospital.
But you signed the birth certificate, right?
Yes, I did.
As the truth starts to peek through, Mr. Lee tries to make sense of his conflicting actions. The court delves into the emotional and legal implications of Mr. Lee's decision to sign the birth certificate despite his doubts, highlighting his legal responsibilities as the father and the incongruences in his actions and statements throughout the case. The tension is building, and the DNA results are about to drop like a bomb. Get ready for the reveal.
That's not why you signed a birth certificate.
I didn't know I couldn't take my name back off. I wasn't aware of that. I wouldn't have signed it.
So you weren't aware of the law. And then you walk in and you just say, well, I might as well just sign the birth certificate like you supersizing your fries or something. And then Ms. Brewington, it doesn't really make sense to me, is offering him a DNA test if you are 100% sure.
Was because I was 100% sure. If he has any doubts, I carried the baby. Go ahead. I don't mind making you look stupid. That's why I'm here now.
The room goes silent as Jerome prepares to unveil the DNA test results. The dramatic climax unfolds as the DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lee, you are not the father.
Told y'all.
Can you believe what just unfolded? Ms. Eubanks confidently claims that proving Mr. Wilkes is the father of her 3-month-old son will save their relationship and pave the way for marriage. She's absolutely sure of his paternity and eager to start planning their wedding. Just when you think the water's calm, the next wave hits even harder.
Ms. Eubanks, you say you are here to save your relationship with the defendant by proving that he is your 3-month-old son, Ma's father. You say once today's DNA results prove paternity, you want to get married.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that just happen? Deeply affected, Ms. Eubanks pours her heart out about the deep pain and frustration of having the paternity of her child questioned by Mr. Wilkes. The emotional toll is visible as she describes how these doubts have shaken her to the core. Brace yourself, because the emotional roller coaster just takes a steeper dive.
Just emotional, like, we've been together too long, so you shouldn't have no doubts or no feelings that anything else is going on.
And it's not just that he's doubting you, he's doubting your baby.
Yeah.
And how does that feel as a mother? No mother wants to feel that.
It hurts a little bit, it, but he still does everything like father is supposed to.
And yet you have tears in your eyes.
Because I love him and I want to be with him. It just hurts sometimes.
What a bombshell that was. Mr. Wilkes opens up about his profound uncertainties regarding the paternity of Mozzie, sharing that even the Simba moment didn't help him feel a connection to his son. This revelation is quite the plot twist. And guess what? The story thickens even more from here.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here. I just need results. Guessing, wondering, and things of that sort. We have been together for so long, so I shouldn't have doubts, but I have my reasoning. It's just the connection. It wasn't there when he first came. You know, like my kids all give me certain signs, you know what I mean? I just didn't feel any type of connection.
And I can see that you don't take this light. You are troubled about this.
Exactly.
This twist is straight out of a movie. A pivotal moment occurs when Mr. Wilkes discloses that he found a suspicious video on Ms. Eubanks' phone, sparking doubts about her loyalty during their time apart. The courtroom braces to watch this potentially game-changing evidence. The upcoming footage is a must-see, and trust me, it delivers the drama.
I still had this intuition, so I went through the phone one night and seen a video. I mean, I have video of something that's showing me.
What? Did you bring that video to court?
I have the video when she said she had eyes for me. This is during our little separation. That's her dance. She's bent over. She just slapped the camera. That's a guy behind her. You can't really see it. You kind of see it? You see that grinding?
Oh, I see it.
You won't see this one coming. In a climactic turn of events, the DNA test results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilkes, you are the father.
You won't believe this opener. Judge announces the case of Washington vs. Steinhardt. The plaintiff, Mr. Washington, claims that a brief affair with Ms. Steinhardt led to her falsely claiming that he fathered her 3-month-old daughter, causing strife in his engagement with Ms. Culmer. Stick around. The drama's just heating up.
Mr. Washington, you say the defendant, Ms. Steinhardt, was a 2-night stand that went, and as a result, she's claiming you fathered her 3-month-old daughter, your fiance. Ms. Culmer says your relationship in turmoil because of Ms. Steinhardt, and you're both desperate to prove you are not the father.
Here's where the plot thickens. Mr. Washington and his fiancée, Ms. Culmer, express their desperation to prove that he is not the father of Ms. Steinhardt's child. They emphasize the turmoil the situation has brought to their relationship. Next up, see how Ms. Steinhardt fires back.
We had a little thing going on a couple months ago because me and my fiancée got into a little argument.
Well, the real reason is because she just wants my family. She wants to be me.
Nobody wants her family. Nobody wants this man.
Cue the counterattack. Ms. Steinhardt asserts that she and Mr. Washington were in a relationship and had planned to have the child together. She is confident that Mr. Washington is the father, countering his claim of a casual encounter. Don't go anywhere. The courtroom is about to get even hotter.
You say that's not true, Ms. Steinhardt.
No, that's not true. Nobody's jealous of her. Nobody wants her family. I just want him to step up to the plate and take care of his daughter as we plan to.
Here comes the backstory. Mr. Washington details how he met Ms. Steinhardt during a stay at a friend's house following a disagreement with his fiancée. The discussion clarifies the timeline and nature of their interaction. Wait till you hear what comes next.
Me and my fiancée got into a little disagreement. I was staying at a friend's house and I met Teresa over there.
If I was seeing anyone, I said no. I asked him the same question also. I said, are you seeing anyone? He said no.
No, that's a lie, Your Honor.
Then we took it from there. We was together like that whole week.
When you say together, that means having sex?
No, like we was just like hanging. Took me to his family member's house, introduced me to his family.
And then it all came crashing down. Ms. Steinhardt describes how she discovered Mr. Washington had a girlfriend when confronted publicly, which led to a rapid departure from the scene, hinting at Mr. Washington's attempt to keep his relationships compartmentalized. Just wait, the tale twists even further up ahead.
How did you find out Mr. Washington had a girlfriend?
Basically, we was walking to the store. She was yelling from the other side of the block, like, oh, I see you.
And then I said, oh, I see y'all. Then they started walking like this. They out, running, ghosts. But they was out, they was ghosts, nowhere to be found.
I don't know what you was on.
To be clear.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Ms. Steinhardt recounts the moment she realized she was pregnant and Mr. Washington's reaction, leading to disputes over his acknowledgement of the situation. What happens next? The court's about to drop a bombshell.
He called me and he was like, I think you need to take a pregnancy test because I think you're pregnant. Yes, you did.
I never called you. You try to contact us all the time.
You didn't call me?
No, I blocked your number.
You called me from a free number. Let's be real because your phone was off. He asked me to take a pregnancy test and I went down to the hospital and I took a pregnancy test and it came back positive and I let him know.
Can it get any more convoluted? Debate intensifies over the nature of the relationship and the paternity of the child, with Mr. Washington denying claims of a longer relationship or plans for parenting together. The DNA results that follow might just break the internet.
So how does that feel to be pregnant and find out this man you thought you were in a relationship and his girlfriend is pregnant? How does
does that feel?
I didn't know she was pregnant to the end because a few times I asked him, I was like, why are you always with me and never going to see your children? He's like, oh, honestly, she's pregnant with a baby girl and I don't know if she's mine. Every child she has had by him, he asked her for a DNA test from what I know.
Grab your popcorn, here it comes. The climactic moment arrives as Judge Lake reads the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Washington, you are not the father.
Thank you. Now have a great day with your life.
Right at the 7-second mark, the courtroom drama kicks off with the case of Morgan versus Mangum. The plaintiff, Miss Morgan, stands firmly, claiming Mr. Mangum is undoubtedly the father of her 3-week-old daughter and aims to cement his paternity to rescue their rocky relationship. The air is thick with anticipation. Buckle up because this ride is just getting started.
You say you are convinced Mr. Mangum is the father of your 3-week-old daughter. You claim that his paternity doubts have led to tension in your relationship and you are desperate to prove is the father to save your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
By the 31-second mark, Mr. Mangum casts a shadow of doubt over the paternity of the child, suspecting Miss Morgan of stepping out on him. He teases the presence of some hefty evidence that could flip the entire case on its head. The courtroom braces itself as things are about to heat up even more.
You say Miss Morgan was unfaithful during your relationship. Bombshell evidence that will prove her baby is not your biological child. Is that correct?
Miss Morgan passionately refutes the infidelity claims, pleading with Mr. Mangum to embrace his role as a father. The verbal volley intensifies, with both sides demanding concrete proof from each other. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next twist comes barreling down the pike.
I'm sick of him denying our 3-week-old daughter. He hasn't done anything for her since she's been born.
I'm not gonna take care of another man's child, Your Honor.
This is your baby. She looks just like you. She's a 1-year-old daughter. She's yours, pup, and do
She
what
been
you have to
unfaithful,
do.
Your Honor.
He's lying.
That baby look nothing like me.
She looks just like you. Are you blind?
So you say your family's on the line, Miss Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
At 2 minutes and 18 seconds, Brandon, Mr. Mangum's brother, steps into the spotlight, testifying that he has caught Miss Morgan cheating not once, not twice, but 3 times. This bombshell testimony throws a wrench into the proceedings, stirring up a storm in the courtroom. And believe it or not, the revelations are about to get even juicier.
My name is Brandon, Jacori's brother.
He says you have evidence that confirms that Miss Morgan has been cheating in the relationship.
Yeah, I have evidence. I caught her cheating 3 times, Your Honor.
You actually submitted an exhibit to the court to outline the various times you caught Miss Morgan cheating.
Yes, Your Honor. I actually have proof, Your Honor.
Brandon dives into the details of the first alleged cheating incident where he claims to have seen Miss Morgan with another man. This accusation begins to sketch a scandalous picture, raising eyebrows and questions about her loyalty. Fasten your seatbelts as we dive deeper into this tangled web.
The first time I caught her cheating at my family home when she was picking up her daughter. And
So you saw her in the car with another guy?
Yes,
I
Your
must
Honor.
have a twin that isn't me.
At your family home?
In the car with her. Then they drove away.
So did you show up with another guy, Miss Morgan?
No, Your Honor, I didn't. He's lying.
So you were never in a car with a guy?
No, Your Honor. They have manipulated his other family members. They have him thinking that he's not the father when we all know he's the father.
The narrative thickens with another claim from Brandon, stating he witnessed Miss Morgan at a food market, cozying up to the same man. The plot thickens, piling on the suspicion. Keep your eyes peeled, because what comes next is sure to be a doozy.
The second time I caught her cheating, Your Honor, at the food market, when I saw her pulled up, he got out and she got out, they hugged and went inside the food market, Your Honor. Yes.
That must have been my brother. I have a brother. That isn't me.
That's the same guy.
No, it isn't the
Yes,
same
it
guy.
is.
That's not even me. I don't even know what I'm talking about. That's not me.
Around the 5-minute mark, Brandon alleges a third encounter, claiming he followed Miss Morgan and her mysterious companion, further asserting her unfaithfulness. Each claim adds more spice to the story, setting the stage for a climax that's bound to be explosive.
Say there's a third time.
Yes, Your Honor. Third time I caught her with him on Highway 18. I started following them, Your Honor. Then I called my brother. He told me to stop following
You was
them.
following
so
the
I turned
wrong
off.
people because that wasn't me.
So you were following Miss Morgan and the guy in the car. Guy was driving.
He didn't confront me. He said
It's not
he
his
saw.
job to confront you.
Amidst his swirling doubts, fueled by the cheating allegations, Mr. Mangum reveals he moved out of their shared home, leaving Miss Morgan to fend for herself with their children. The emotional stakes are mounting, and just when you think it can't get more intense, the next piece of evidence comes into play.
So Mr. Mangum, you are convinced this child is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your brother has testified that he's seen Miss Morgan 3 times. So much doubt, you decided to move out of the house.
If you don't want to step up and be a
I
just don't be a dad. Don't say that she's not yours. She's
just past the 7-minute mark, Mr. Mangum presents what he claims are incriminating text messages from Miss Morgan's phone, suggesting she was romantically engaged with another man. The courtroom is on edge as this new evidence sends shockwaves through the audience. Stay tuned because the judge's gavel is about to drop some major truth.
Back in November, while she was in the shower, I had got her phone. She had left on lock.
Why didn't you confront me
I went
about
through
it?
and I seen her and another dude texting on Facebook Messenger talking about having sex and how they like each
That's
other.
not true.
Facebook Messenger, there were texts about having sex with another guy?
The discussion takes a sharp turn towards the timing of the child's conception, closely aligning with when Mr. Mangum discovered the dubious messages. This pivotal moment in the discussion adds another layer of drama, paving the way for an earth-shattering revelation just around the corner.
And that would be very near the window of time Joy would have been conceived. And so it is for that reason you have sincere doubt about the paternity?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have never cheated on him, Your Honor. Even when he was unfaithful in our relationship throughout my pregnancy, and it was so depressing to have to see him be with other women and cheat with other women. And even after I saw all that, I was still faithful to him. And he just moved out the house, just switched up, and have not been taking care of our daughter.
As we approach the finale, Miss Morgan shares the harrowing emotional toll she's endured, raising their children alone amidst Mr. Mangum's denials of paternity. Her plight paints a heart-wrenching picture, priming us for the climactic unveiling that's about to unfold.
This is exhausting under regular circumstances where you have the father. And how has this been for you? And what have you been going?
A lot. I have to take care of 2 children. He have left the house.
And so the tear that I see right now,
it's overwhelming. And for someone to be denying your child and they know they're the father is just so stressful.
So there really is a lot at stake. This is not make fun of something that's said, but ultimately we know this is really not a joke.
In a dramatic climax, the results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mangum, you are the father.
This is the case of James versus Schimmel. The case is introduced involving Mr. James and Ms. Schimmel, who are back to figure out the paternity of Ms. Schimmel's 2-year-old daughter, Ochelle. The central conflict is laid out from the get-go, drawing viewers into the emotional whirlwind. Buckle up, the opening arguments are just the appetizer.
Mr. James, you and Ms. Schimmel have been in court over fidelity issues in the past. Now you are back in court and you are claiming that it would have been nearly impossible for you to have fathered Ms. Schimmel's 2-year-old daughter, Ochelle.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because we only slept together one time. Mr. James lays out his case, stressing the slim odds of him being the father based on their brief encounter. It's a pivotal point that lays bare the timing and circumstances under which Ochelle could have been conceived. But remember, in paternity drama, it only takes once. What's next could flip the script.
Well, Judge, just like you said, it's merely impossible for me to have fathered Ochelle. It just doesn't make any sense. We only slept together one time.
That's all it takes.
I agree. But she had an ongoing boyfriend at the time. It just doesn't make sense. The timeline is all the way off.
They recount the fateful night that started it all, from a lively party to the more intimate setting of her room. This backstory is crucial, framing their relationship and the paternity dispute in a very personal light. Fasten your seatbelt. The next part of the story ramps up the stakes.
We met at a party in Flint. She was very fun. When I met her, we had a good time. We drank a lot. We left the party together. We went to her room.
So you didn't waste any time. So you go to the room and you're intimate. Protection or unprotected?
We did not use protection. I got up the next morning. I went home 2 days later. She texted me and she told me she wanted to break it off. She didn't want to talk to me, text me. She wanted to patch things up with her boyfriend.
Mr. James reveals his confusion when Ms. Schimmel unexpectedly presents DNA test results, stirring the pot and thickening the plot in this emotional roller coaster. Just when you think you've seen it all, the story takes another sharp turn.
She told me in the beginning that this other gentleman, her ex, was the father. For at least 9 to 10 months that we had been together after that, I was prepared for that. I was thinking that her ex was the father. I come home from work one day. I went down and had Ochelle tested. I just got the results. So I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Because you've been telling me that why did you even have to need a DNA test if you believe your ex is the father?
Because there's a third person involved. Suddenly, a third potential father enters the fray, adding a new layer of complexity and a hint of scandal to the case. This twist sends shockwaves through the courtroom. Gear up, the details about this mystery man are about to make jaws drop.
As soon as she tells me that he's not the father, I'm sitting here like, oh, what is going on? She drops it on me. You're the father. This man being 100% the father, to me being 100% the father. Who's the father?
Well, why doesn't that make sense? If the other guy is not the father, why wouldn't you believe you are the father?
Because there's a third person involved.
So you have a car accident, but you get her phone? In a mix of high drama and dangerous decisions, a car accident triggered by a fight over a phone unveils deeper issues of trust. It's a wild recount that shows just how tumultuous their relationship has been. Brace yourself, because what's on that phone is a game changer.
This is what happened. We were driving home from an amusement park. All of a sudden, her phone goes off. Now, I'm thinking, it's 12:30 at night. Who's messaging her? And I'm with her. So I'm driving her, and she's sneakily and deleting it, sneaking it. So I'm telling her, I'm like, let me see the phone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drive. Let me see the phone.
I
reached for the car and lost control of my car, wrecked my car.
Oh, Lord, and you all were okay, though?
We were okay, but I retrieved the phone.
Mr. James shares his touching backstory of adoption, adding layers of emotional depth to his paternity concerns and giving us a glimpse into why he's so invested in the outcome. It's a heartfelt revelation that sets the stage for the emotional crescendo to come.
And so you've been in this relationship. You all are growing your family.
Yeah, I love her with all my heart. I was adopted. I know the importance between knowing your biological family, well, my adopted family. They raised me, happy family. My birth mom left me in the hospital premature, but she signed the adoption papers and left.
The climax hits like a ton of bricks as the paternity results are finally here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. James, you are not the father.
Can you believe that just unfolded right in front of our eyes? Ms. Cates kicks off her case by revealing a white lie that led Mr. G to deny paternity of her 2-year-old son, Messiah. She passionately argues that Mr. G, despite his doubts, would make a great dad if only the DNA test confirms his paternity. Mr. G claps back, insistent he's not the father, and even drops a hint that he might know who the real dad is. Strap in, because the roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Ms. Cates, you opened your case today because a white lie told resulted in the defendant denying your 2-year-old son. You say you know the defendant is a good man, but he'll be a better father once the results are revealed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that just make your jaw drop? Ms. Cates spills the tea about the night she first locked eyes with Mr. G, painting a picture of instant chemistry and a whirlwind start to their physical relationship. They met at a bar through a mutual friend, and things heated up faster than a microwave dinner. The crowd's reaction is priceless when Ms. Cates admits they didn't waste any time getting close. You'll want to stick around because what happens next is even more jaw-dropping.
So take me to the night you met Mr. G.
I was at the bar. We met through a mutual friend, and we just hit it off. When I seen him, I just thought that he was the most handsome guy I ever seen on this word. But
So how soon after you met at the club did you start a sexual relationship?
That same night.
How's that for a plot twist? Mr. G throws some serious shade, suggesting Ms. Cates is only chasing him because he's somewhat of a local celebrity. He expresses doubts about her loyalty, hinting she might have been playing the field. Their exchange heats up, highlighting a complex web of trust issues and accusations. Fasten your seatbelt. It's about to get bumpier.
Why you trying to pin that baby on me? Because I'm popping with this music stuff. Fame,
Right,
you
whatever.
feel me? Like everybody in my city know me. You know what I'm saying?
You say you hood
You
famous,
just want a piece of that.
and that's why you think
She
she's
ain't-
trying to pin the baby on you.
Yeah.
And you say you were getting to know her and you really liked her.
Yeah, I really like vibe. You know what I'm saying? We clicked. It was like, it was here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And so you thought that she was feeling you the way you were feeling her, and you all had a connection, which meant with other people.
yes, correct.
Didn't see that coming, did you? Ms. Burns, Mr. G's sister, jumps into the fray with claims that Ms. Cates was too cozy with other dudes at the club. She describes seeing Ms. Cates in what she considered compromising situations, which Ms. Cates hotly disputes, insisting she was just mingling like anyone would at a club. The drama escalates quickly. Keep watching, the revelations are far from over.
What did you see, Miss Burns?
Cause she'll be in the club with this guy, and it'd be too close for comfort. You're not finna be all in this guy every time I turn around, all in this and all the extras. It was more than
No,
that.
how we won't there, so hush. And if I'm at the club, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna socialize, because that's what you do at the club. I'm not gonna stand and hold up to that.
Wow.
You all up on them, all
I'm not all
too close to
sis.
comfort. Just met this guy, so no.
no,
I thought it was
sis.
dancing with you in the club.
Talk about a bombshell. Ms. Cates drops a major confession, admitting she was juggling more than just Mr. G at the time. There was another man in the picture. She reluctantly reveals this under intense questioning, which throws a giant wrench into the works, clouding the paternity issue even further. Don't switch channels yet. The stakes are about to get even higher.
So, Miss Cates, are you denying you were dating other men at the time?
I was seeing him and someone at the same time.
Well, that's the white lie then.
I'm not denying that I was in a relationship with someone else and it was just that one person. Club, flirting with this guy at the mall, hug out, all of that, nah, that's a negative.
I ain't blind and I don't wear glasses.
Here's where it gets spicy. Ms. Cates dives deep into the details of the night she believes was the moment Messiah was conceived. Despite Mr. G's persistent denials and evident skepticism from the crowd, she stands her ground with vivid memories of that fateful night. The tension is palpable. Brace yourself. The verdict is right around the corner.
What happened that night? You say you remember the night. What happened?
You know, he's a local artist, so he took me to a party at the studio where they threw like a pool party. We had fun that night. We went out, even after we partied there, we went club hopping, and then it went down the whole night. Like, that's when my baby was conceived.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. The climax of the episode hits like a thunderbolt when
it has been determined by this court. Mr. G, you are not the father.
Told you so.
Buckle up for this emotional roller coaster. Mr. Lang expresses his strong desire for the child to be his, despite his doubts about paternity. He clearly articulates his emotional state and hopefulness, highlighting the personal stakes involved in the case. But guess what? The plot thickens just around the corner.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wait till you hear this bombshell. A critical revelation occurs when Ms. Lang accuses Miss Brown of potentially cheating on her son with his best friend, Mr. Dixon. This accusation throws a wrench in the whole paternity question, cranking up the tension in the courtroom. And you won't believe what's coming up next.
Because I found out that Brown slept with my son's best friend from the Sandbox best friend, or Mr. Dixon's.
No, that's not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here's a twist. Miss Brown recounts how Mr. Lang reacted positively upon learning of her pregnancy, showing his initial commitment and excitement about becoming a father. This moment really paints a picture of the emotional bond and acceptance of fatherhood by Mr. Lang. But hang tight, there's more juice to squeeze.
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying I was pregnant. He kept the paper. He even took it to school to show everybody, oh, I have a baby on the way. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth and delivery. He was happy to have a baby. I wasn't sure about keeping a baby. I just started college.
Can you handle more drama? Watch this curveball. A dramatic twist in the narrative unfolds as Mr. Lang begins to harbor doubts about paternity after seeing Miss Brown with another man, Mr. Dixon. This adds layers of suspicion and betrayal to the story. Strap in. The emotional turbulence is just getting started.
Walking to her house, to her apartment, while I'm like walking down the street, things like that.
Was this before or after the baby was born?
Before.
Do you have any idea why another man, Dixon in particular, would say he's the father?
And I've never slept with him. Me and him was not even cool. When we even seen each other, it was never like that. It was always a group of friends.
Here's a tender yet tangled moment. The birth of the baby brings a touching scene where Mr. Lang actively participates in the delivery process, showing his deep emotional investment. Yet, doubts about the baby's paternity immediately cloud the joyful moment, adding complexity to his feelings. You'll want to stick around for what's next.
When this grandbaby is born, I'll be able to look at it and tell. That's the only reason she was there.
Did you think the baby was yours?
He thought it was his, and I interject right there. She looked like him. Look at her, get your baby, woo, 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 and all that. And then he pulled the hat off. He said, Mama, what's up with this hairline?
Gear up for the big reveal. The climax of the episode comes crashing down with the unveiling of the DNA test results.
In the case of Lang versus Brown, when it comes to 1-year-old baby Janelle, Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Buckle up for this one. Miss Hooker steps forward with her mother, firmly claiming Mr. Abraham fathered her 10-month-old daughter, Kenaya. They're not just here for drama. They want an apology from Ms. Baker and her family for publicly denying the child. Their denial, they claim, has caused unbearable emotional strain. And guess what? The story thickens from here.
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kenaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father.
Here comes a curveball. Representing her late son, Ms. Baker steps up to challenge the allegations head-on. She asserts that Mr. Abraham had serious doubts about his paternity before his untimely death. The courtroom is charged with tension as she seeks to clear her son's name and confront Ms. Hooker's claims. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for what's next.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically he was killed 3 months after the birth. You say that before his death, your son expressed great doubt, father of Miss Hooker's baby, and you are here to put the lies.
Yes, Your Honor.
The atmosphere gets heavier. Miss Hooker, clearly fed up, voices her frustration and indifference to the skepticism surrounding her daughter's paternity. Her detachment is palpable as she dismisses the judgments and opinions of others. But don't go anywhere. The emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. Feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just
just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal. Like every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm just outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is a problem? That's why I decided I don't care about nothing.
Dive deeper into the backstory. Miss Hooker opens up about her roller coaster relationship with Keyshawn, from best friends to partners and back to friends. It's a tale of young love and complex emotions, peppered with the ups and downs of their on and off romance. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's more to come.
6th grade year, we was best friends. Like we stopped talking, then we started going together for a minute, and then like we just, when I got pregnant, we was just like always talk, but we just stopped going. But we still talking though, but we just stopped going together. Like we weren't boyfriend or girlfriend.
But then you still talked.
Yeah.
Were you in love, or this was your first love?
Yeah.
This moment will tug at your heartstrings. The judge solemnly acknowledges the tragic passing of Keyshawn, who was fatally shot, leaving unresolved issues and deep grief in his wake. The emotional weight of this revelation hangs heavy in the air, but hold tight. The revelations ahead are even more startling.
May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
He just told me to promise him that we was gonna get a test done because of what the other young man said, and you know.
What did the other young man say?
He told Keyshawn that when he wasn't around, he was supposedly sleeping with the night.
Tensions flare up now. Miss Hooker vehemently denies any other romantic entanglements when Ms. Baker suggests there might have been another potential father. The courtroom becomes a battleground of words as trust and truth are put on the line. You definitely don't want to miss what happens next.
Cause how can somebody tell me who I was sleeping? Nobody in the room was.
Keyshawn told us that he wanted the blood test. Keyshawn only denied the baby when him and my daughter was arguing. Other than that, I have pictures with him laying on her. He had doubt only when he was angry, getting mad at what he tell his mother or nothing like that. He held the baby, kissed the baby, and loved the baby. We just need to get the results from Miss Carolyn.
Surprise, surprise! Ms. Baker recounts how whispers and rumors led her to discover Miss Hooker's pregnancy. It's a small-town saga of school bus gossip and family dinner revelations that had everyone talking. And just when you think the dust has settled, the plot twists again.
How did you learn that Miss pregnant?
She ride the same bus daughter and my granddaughter does from school, and they had came home like prior months before she was supposed to be pregnant. And I asked her, I said, do you know anything of your daughter being pregnant? Girl said they were on the bus, and she's
gonna
like,
find out what she having tomorrow.
Emotions are running high now. Ms. Baker and her family express their turmoil and confusion, deeply troubled by the paternity mystery and its impact, especially on Keyshawn's well-being before his death. It's a poignant reflection on how deeply personal this ordeal is for them. The next turn of events, absolutely gripping.
My mama has a relationship with them. I don't. It may or may not be his. I did not put the baby name in there just in case it isn't. My mom has to read that obituary. She lost a child. If this baby turned out to be his, do I want my mama to look in there and look at a reminder of a baby that was supposed to be his? I'm thinking about my mama feelings. It don't have nothing to do with her.
Get ready for a showdown. The courtroom heats up as a fiery exchange breaks out. Miss Hooker is sharply admonished by the judge for stepping out of line, highlighting the need for decorum amidst the chaos. But keep your eyes peeled. The most jaw-dropping part is yet to unfold.
They don't have to.
I already told, you know what I said already, Judge? Since she got left out the obituary, I have already told them, if it comes back saying Kenaya belongs to Keyshawn, a set of obituaries made. Baby grow up and she read her dad's obituary, there's her name.
And now, the moment of truth. The DNA test results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
And this is why right here.
Ms. Baker, are you all right?
Just when you thought daytime TV couldn't get any juicier, Ms. Seuss hauls Mr. Payne into court, pointing fingers at his mother for his refusal to acknowledge their 10-month-old daughter, Aleliana. She's adamant about getting his name on the birth certificate once paternity is confirmed. Strap in, because Mr. Payne's retort is just around the corner.
Ms. Seuss, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say it's his mother's fault he's denying your 10-month-old daughter. You claim when the DNA results prove he is the father, you want the defendant's name added to her birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the plot thickens, Mr. Payne and his mom lay out their case, citing Ms. Seuss's allegedly sneaky antics during their on and off 3-year saga as the root of their skepticism, demanding a DNA test before any signatures are penned. The sparks are about to fly even higher in the next exchange.
Mr. Payne, you and your mother say the plaintiff's sneaky behavior during your on and off 3-year relationship has led you both to believe she is a liar. You say you need the DNA results or you're not signing anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
The tension ratchets up as the couple delves into the nitty-gritty of their rocky relationship, spotlighting a laundry list of jealousy and trust issues. Accusations are tossed back and forth, setting the stage for even more revelations. Buckle up because the gloves are coming off next.
So jealous and insecure about himself. Like, everywhere I go, he think I'm doing something. I go to the store, I gotta be back in a certain time. Like, he's just crazy.
Your Honor, she lying. She been out there, Facebook messages.
You guys, they're both jealous.
Of course I'm jealous. You were my boyfriend for like almost 3 years.
And why would not be
you guys
jealous?
do the
She was
same
my
thing
girl.
to each other.
All right. How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
I'm 20.
In a dramatic twist, accusations about past indiscretions surface, throwing the paternity of the child into question right after they've rekindled their romance. Mr. Payne ties these doubts directly to his insistence on a DNA test. Things are about to get even more tangled up ahead.
He was happy for a minute. I don't know. I guess there we go with this DNA test stuff, so.
Your response, Mr. Payne.
I was happy and shocked at the same time because I felt like it happened fast.
Yes.
How soon after you got back together did
2 weeks.
It seemed like right away. It's the first time she got pregnant, I knew without a doubt it was his because she didn't go anywhere. I couldn't get rid of her. They break up so much, and they were broken up for about a month or something.
Yes.
They got back together, and she got pregnant.
Yes, we had sex.
Amidst a whirlwind of emotions, the announcement of the pregnancy initially brings joy, but quickly morphs into suspicion and demands for a DNA test due to their recent patch-up. The emotional roller coaster is far from over. Keep your eyes peeled for what's next.
And so you said we're not doing anything till we get a DNA test.
I said, me personally, I wanted a DNA test to make sure that it was his. Told him that he should get a DNA test because they both do things to each other. It seems like they go tit for tat. You're talking to a girl, I'm gonna go talk to this guy. They do this.
I'm not innocent.
This is
but
what
I'm not
they
gonna
do.
put no
Me
baby
neither.
if it's not your child.
But I was there
And as
through the
far as
pregnancy.
But you really weren't.
But I wasn't though.
How?
Because you wanted to stay away.
As the courtroom hangs on every word, Ms. Sousis shares the solitary struggles she faced during her pregnancy, feeling abandoned and choosing to go it alone, despite Mr. Payne's sporadic presence. Emotions continue to escalate as we dive deeper into their story.
I've been doing this for so long by myself. It's like, I'm just fed up.
She didn't have to be alone. That was on her.
Who was there for me?
She chose to. Me?
Mr. Payne says you didn't have to be alone. Why did you choose to do this by yourself?
Because I've been independent for so long, for so many years by myself. I was used to it, so it was like.
Did you want him to be there and help you? I'm confused as to why you didn't allow him to help.
It was too much for around my daughter, and I don't want that all around her, so.
Layer by layer, the discussion reveals the strained relationship between the child, Mr. Payne, and his mother, highlighting a lack of connection and Ms. Sousis' challenges with co-parenting amid continuous strife. The emotional fireworks aren't done just yet. There's more to come.
So for the past 10 months, you've been raising her on your own?
Not on my own. Like, yeah, he comes in and out. I don't like that. If you're gonna stay out, you're gonna come in. Like, if she knows you're that, stay in.
If you need help and you want me to be there and you tell me no, what more can I do?
All right, but when I ask you for stuff, it's always a problem, though.
How is it you just asked me?
It's a problem.
What did I do?
Right? What did you do?
Stroller, you ain't even put the stroller up. Because it's
I'm not
blue.
putting my, yes,
Because
no blue
You should have told me
stroller.
that, and I would have replaced it.
Reaching a fever pitch, Ms. Sousis explains the critical role of Mr. Payne's name on the birth certificate and how his refusal has exacerbated feelings of rejection and complicated their co-parenting dynamics. The climax is nearing, and you won't want to miss it.
In your court papers, you say he's not on Aleliana's birth certificate.
Yes, that's another reason why I didn't let him take her as much.
Don't sign it if you have any doubts. Get the DNA like y'all doing now.
And I had a
Then
doubt,
sign
and it's sad that it took 10 months for it to happen, but at least it can happen today. And if it is my child, I'm gonna step all the way, 100%. You don't gotta say good.
At last, the much-anticipated paternity results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Payne, you are the father.
Thank you.
I'm happy. Now I'm happy. Now I can be happy.
Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions. Ms. Brown Murray stands before the court outraged by accusations from her husband, Mr. Murray, who doubts the paternity of their child. She has been accused of infidelity while serving in Iraq, which she vehemently denies. The emotional weight of these accusations is palpable as she defends her fidelity and the integrity of their family. Buckle up, because the courtroom drama is about to get even more intense.
Ms. Brown Murray, today you say you stand before me outraged because your husband has accused you of infidelity while serving in Iraq. Furthermore, you claim he now doubts paternity of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
You won't believe what comes out of Mr. Murray's mouth next. Mr. Murray presents his argument, suspecting that his wife cheated on him while she was deployed overseas. He believes that the timeline of her pregnancy announcement is too soon after her return, making it impossible for him to be the father. This moment heightens the tension in the courtroom as he lays out his doubts and fears. Just wait. The plot thickens in just a moment.
You argue that your wife did indeed cheat on you while serving overseas. You contend contend that there's no way you could be the father because she announced she was too soon after returning home.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Brown Murray is about to spill the tea on military life. She explains the difficulties of staying faithful under the pressures and temptations of military life overseas. Despite the presence of attractive colleagues and challenging conditions, she reassures the court and her husband of her commitment to their marriage. Her detailed account of communication challenges during her deployment, including dealing with bomb threats, illustrates her efforts to maintain transparency with her husband. The next part is a doozy, so stay tuned.
I'll be honest, when you're overseas at first, I mean, there's gonna be temptations, guys that look good, and there's gonna be guys all around, and you're gonna see guys, but that doesn't mean that you have to cheat and you have to go outside of your marriage. There's temptation all around, but I didn't cheat and I didn't go outside of my marriage, and I know that in the military there's a rule that we can't do that. And I assured him every day I Skyped with him every day. When I wasn't able to Skype, it was because there was a bomb going off or something that I would have to get in the bunker and it's an hour.
Mr. Murray is about to lay his heart on the line. He shares his personal struggles with being alone in a new state while his wife was deployed, highlighting his vulnerability and the psychological toll of her absence. He expresses his insecurities about the age difference between them and the presence of younger men around his wife at the base. His fears are compounded by the isolation and his apprehensions about his wife's fidelity. Gear up, because we're diving deeper into his psyche next.
First time me being alone in another state with no family. My wife is deploying overseas. Don't know if I'm gonna ever see her again. Is she still gonna have love for me? It's a lot of men on base, younger men. Keep in mind, I'm 22 years older than my wife. So that has a lot to do with my being guilty.
Because you feel like she may have wanted to be with someone younger.
Yes.
Things are about to get even juicier with this next conversation. Rumors and misconceptions about relationships on military bases are discussed, adding to Mr. Murray's anxiety. A young man from Mr. Murray's apartment complex fuels these fears by describing a culture of secrecy and infidelity among deployed personnel. This conversation significantly influences Mr. Murray's doubts about his wife's loyalty. Stick around, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
While I was there in the apartment complex, I met a few people. This apartment complex has 85% of military people either still active. He said, which really, this is when I really got worried. In the military's world, when they overseas, they have a group of people, and that group got to stay with each other. If they're there for 2 years, he said it could be 40 married ladies on base.
And that's not true.
Watch as a new witness turns the heat up in the courtroom. A witness, a former military member, testifies about the common behaviors and unspoken rules among soldiers stationed away from home, which often include forming close bonds that may lead to infidelity. This testimony is meant to provide context to Mr. Murray's concerns, but also highlights that not all military personnel engage in these behaviors. The discussion sheds light on the challenges of maintaining marital fidelity in a military context. Fasten your seatbelts. The courtroom drama escalates from here.
First and foremost, I don't want to bring any discredit upon the military because the actions of soldiers, there are a lot of times where you join the military and you're away from home, and so the first thing you can do is cling to people who are around you. You develop a camaraderie. Pretty much what goes on base stays on base. You know, the unofficial term for it was temporarily divorced.
The tension is almost unbearable as we near the DNA results. The climax builds as Mr. Murray discusses his suspicions around the timing of Ms. Brown Murray's pregnancy announcement shortly after her return. His previous medical condition, which could affect fertility, adds to his skepticism about being the biological father. This part of the episode leads directly into the unveiling of the DNA test results, creating a peak moment of suspense. Get ready for the big reveal. It's just around the corner.
And so how soon after she returned home from Iraq did this pregnancy announcement happen?
She came home in November.
Given the fact doctor had already told you had a low sperm count before she left for overseas and she never got pregnant.
Never did.
Then she comes back home and in under a month she's pregnant. You say to yourself,
how can that be?
This child may not be mine, is what you were thinking. I think it's time we get to results.
The verdict is in and you won't believe the outcome. The resolution comes with the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court that you are her father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Courtroom drama heats up early on. Ms. McBirth is suing Ms. Jackson for a cool $1,000 for defamation of character, alleging Ms. Jackson unleashed a series of scandalous comments on social media. She claims these comments tagged her and her kin as deadbeats, stirring significant personal turmoil and a family uproar. Just wait, the emotional thermometer is about to burst.
Furthermore, you're suing Ms. Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character because you claim she posted comments on social media claiming you and your family family are deadbeats.
The air thickens with tension as Ms. McBirth launches into a tirade. She unloads on Ms. Jackson with a barrage of derogatory labels, calling her trash, trouble, and trifling. She lays down a vehement denouncement of Ms. Jackson, highlighting stark differences in appearance between Ms. Jackson's child and her own family, steadfast in her claim that there's no way the child could be her son's. Buckle up, because the verbal fireworks are just getting started.
So, Ms. McBirth, why do you believe your son's not the father?
She is trouble with a capital T. I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family.
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring? Piece of evidence? Jerome, may I see that, please? A photo of your son and the child in question?
Right.
And you say the child looks nothing like your son?
That baby white as snow. There's no way grandchild or my son's baby.
Just when you think things can't get more fiery, a heated debate explodes over the child's paternity, with accusations zipping about Ms. Jackson's intentions and character. Ms. McBirth stands her ground fiercely, convinced that Ms. Jackson is attempting to foist an unrelated child upon her family, her doubts and animosity boiling over. Hold tight as the plot thickens even further.
When you say she's trying to push the baby on you, what do you mean?
She wants me to acknowledge that that child is my son. That's not gonna happen.
No, I think she's more so upset.
Tell me about the first time you met Elijah.
I seen him at the doctor's office where I was taking his real children to the doctor, past him, and I kind of glanced over there, and white baby, I knew it wasn't mine, and I ain't had nothing to say or do about it since then. She need to get that out of her head. That child is not my son's baby.
You won't believe this next part. Ms. McBirth lets loose a torrent of frustration about the lineup of women claiming her son is the father of their kids, painting a picture of a recurring nightmare that has heaped a heavy burden on her shoulders. She expresses her exhaustion and irritation at what she views as an endless parade of false paternity claims. The saga continues, and it's juicier than ever.
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
stop, because that baby is not my son.
Here's the thing that she does.
It is.
Here's the
Sorry.
That's a lie.
Yes, she's a liar because you just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last night.
Hello.
ma'am.
Yes.
Things are reaching a boiling point. As the court session progresses, it's crystal clear that both Ms. McBirth and her son, Mr. Hughes, have a rocky relationship with Ms. Jackson. The mother airs out her profound vexation with her son's irresponsible antics, which have repeatedly resulted in paternity dramas. Gear up, because there's more turbulence ahead.
Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
My son I know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is. He's a handsome guy. He's my son. What he do, he's still gonna be my son.
When you look at this picture,
it make me want to throw up.
It seems like your son is kissing the baby. It makes you want to throw up.
Because it's a lie.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not his.
It doesn't matter, really, if he's showing the child.
Are you ready for more courtroom roller coaster? The paternity test results come thundering in.
Pertaining to 2-year-old Elijah Jackson, and whether Mr. Hughes is the father. Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
No! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie!
Strap in for this wild ride. Ms. Beckley comes out swinging, claiming she's in court to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of her 1-year-old daughter, Idale Beckley. Her frustration is palpable as she recounts how Mr. Allen has barely been involved, demanding he step up to the plate today. Buckle up, because the courtroom is heating up.
Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Idale Beckley. You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today.
Yes, Your Honor.
You won't see this twist coming. Mr. Allen throws a curveball by declaring his certainty that he is not Idale's biological father, blaming Ms. Beckley's claims for causing friction in his current relationship. He questions the conception timeline and relationship dynamics, making everyone in the room lean in a bit closer. Things are about to get even more tangled.
Mr. Allen, you say are more than certain you are not biological father and claim Ms. Beckley's accusations are driving a wedge between you and your fiance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Ms. Beckley pours her heart out, describing the emotional toll of Mr. Allen's absence on her and Idale. She's not holding back, sharing her struggles with single parenthood and her deep-seated anger towards Mr. Allen for his neglect. And just when you think it can't get more intense, it does.
I'm angry. She's without a father, and it's terrible that she has to go through that, and I'm raising her on my own. I just feel like you should be a dad to her, because you are her father.
And you feel like he's just neglecting your child.
He's neglecting her with the other 2 kids we have. He's in their life, but you're not in hers. And it makes me feel like wow, really?
Oh, it's getting spicy now. A fiery debate erupts about the specifics of Mr. Allen and Ms. Beckley's relationship around the time Idale was conceived, including a detailed recount of their less than romantic encounters. Every detail is scrutinized under the courtroom's microscope. Stick around, around because the fireworks are just beginning.
Well, me and Ms. Beckley had separated. We were co-parenting. We were still good friends.
On Germany's second birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex. Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
It was angry sex. I was mad at the fact that she put me at the house, that I had been there taking care of her and the children.
Here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Beckley reveals bombshell evidence showing Mr. Allen's signature on the birth certificates of their other kids, but notably absent on Ida Lay's. Her disappointment is loud and clear as she calls him out for missing crucial moments, like her emergency C-section. Wait till you see Mr. Allen's comeback.
I was at the hospital by myself. He was not there. I have evidence.
I'd like to see it.
He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline Allen. Second one, Xavier, Dantes, Tyrell, Jerome Allen. Third one, Italy, Lisa, Alexandria, Beckley. No father listed. You didn't even give her his last name.
He don't deserve it.
Can you feel the heat? Mr. Allen accuses Ms. Beckley of blocking him from taking a DNA test not once, but twice, which he says fueled his paternity doubts. His frustration is off the charts as he claims these actions show her dishonesty. The judge's eyebrows are about to reach her hairline.
The point is, I'm trying to understand your doubt, Mr. Allen.
Denied me the DNA test not once, but twice. That's what gave me further doubt. For the fact that the way she told me that she pregnant was too fast, the time of conception, she said that the baby went full term, April 1st. The baby was due March 11th.
Things are getting heated. The judge steps in, spotlighting the ongoing chaos and dysfunction between Ms. Beckley and Mr. Allen, emphasizing the negative impact on their daughter, Ida Lay. She doesn't mince words, calling out their harmful dance of arguments. Get ready, because the judge is about to lay down the law.
I'm starting to understand what's going on here. You know this choreography. Arguing and dysfunction and yelling and back and forth. You all do this well.
Your Honor, I stepped away,
And
Your
this
Honor.
little girl is the one suffering because she's a year old with no father.
Watch as the plot thickens. Enter Mr. Allen's fiancée, who stirs the pot by alleging that Ms. Beckley told another man he was the father, which adds layers of drama and doubt to the already sizzling courtroom saga. The anticipation is building, and you won't believe what's up next.
Mr. Allen, you brought a witness. I'd like to hear from her. Ma'am, please state. State your name for the record.
Cheyenne Montgomery. I'm Darius' fiance. She has told Darius that he was not the father. It's been said that she's told another guy he was the father.
Okay, y'all got proof of that, and y'all fiancés with a ring at?
Girl, mind your business.
You have no business. That's why you're here. Because you're worried about. Was you in the bed with me and him when we had her?
And now, the moment of truth. The DNA test results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiancé. Stepmama.
Here we go again. Can you believe it's Ms. Austin's third time stepping into this courtroom? She's back with the same opponent, Mr. Wallace, and this time it's about the paternity of her 9-month-old son, Ronald. The saga continues, and you might want to grab some popcorn because the drama unfolds even more from here.
This is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation. Today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your 9-month son, Ronell, so that he can begin to step up and be a father.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Mr. Wallace is throwing doubt like confetti at a parade, questioning if he's really the father of Ronell. His doubt is as thick as the tension in the room, all stemming from his suspicions about Ms. Austin's loyalty. Just wait until you hear what he says next. It's a doozy.
Mr. Wallace, you claim you have multiple reasons to doubt when it comes to whether or not you are the biological father of this child, and hope today is your last visit to this courtroom.
Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. We're thrown into a flashback that gives us the lowdown on their past court battles and the shaky ground of their relationship. It's like watching a soap opera, but in court. The stakes are high and the emotions higher. Brace yourself. The courtroom's about to turn up the heat.
Is an innocent baby. Like, I ain't have a father in my life, so I don't want my kids.
She is a whore.
Mr. Wallace,
you're not going to woman in this courtroom that way. You better pipe yourself. Get out the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to be a man. Just need help on.
And that's why we're here.
Just when you think you've seen it all, the courtroom turns into a reality show set. Ms. Austin and Ms. Roberts can't keep their cool, and chaos ensues with screams and a bit of a scuffle, leading to Ms. Roberts' exit stage left. The dust will settle, but not before more fireworks.
She was sleeping around.
If I'm dead, so why you keep on sleeping with me? Why? Pregnant again!
Easy access.
Say that about her. Yeah.
Allow me to sleep.
Cool. I'm gonna keep on just because I know that you with her. She's
So,
allowed.
I don't have that.
Yes,
If you can sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low self-esteem.
Ladies,
I know you was
Let's get some order.
Fasten your seatbelts, because the accusations are flying faster than a speeding bullet. The courtroom becomes a hotbed of revelations about past infidelities and mistrust. Mr. Wallace is adamant about his doubts, and Ms. Austin is on the defensive. The tension could be cut with a knife. Wait until you see the next twist.
You were outlining that you felt like Ms. Austin was sleeping around.
If you're talking to other people right after you're pregnant, I'm gonna have doubts about the child.
Ms. Austin, are you admitting that you also had a relationship with somebody else during the time?
No, I wouldn't even call it a relationship.
It was just someone else you were seeing.
Talking to, because I was hurt. Trying to get back at Rangel, things that he has done to me.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. Judge Lake reveals the results of the DNA test.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father.
Can you believe that reaction? At the 10-second mark, the audience warmly greets the court with a good day. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Barlow asserts that his 8 children bear a strong resemblance to him, unlike Ms. Winslow's son, Jabril, leading him to doubt his paternity. The implication is clear as he directly states that he is not Jabril's father, raising questions about the child's true lineage. Just when you think it's settling, the next moment adds even more spice.
Good day, everyone.
Good day, Jan.
Mr. Barlow, you say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you. And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is.
Yes, Your Honor.
This accusation just raised the stakes. During this segment, Mr. Barlow expresses his suspicions about Ms. Winslow's fidelity, suggesting she was involved with the landlord during his absence. He reveals his habit of frequent phone checks due to a history of infidelity, further complicating their relationship. The tension escalates with Ms. Winslow defending her actions by emphasizing the landlord's presence was purely professional, a claim met with skepticism by Mr. Barlow, and it only intensifies from here.
Your Honor, I doubt these things due to the fact that during the time of Jabril's conception,
He was around enough for us to conceive.
as I was away, I believe she was sleeping with the landlord.
And that's not possible,
And-
Your Honor. The landlord.
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
As I was away, I would call all the time, because I got a long past of infidelity. I got a long history of infidelity. And so I left. When I went away, she said pay back some.
Here's where things start to heat up even more. Mr. Barlow questions the appropriateness of the landlord's late visits, hinting at potential misconduct. Judge Lake tries to rationalize the situation by suggesting that the landlord's presence was necessary for apartment repairs. However, Mr. Barlow remains unconvinced, highlighting unusual timings and activities that fuel his doubts about the nature of the landlord's visits. Keep watching. The tension escalates in the next segment.
Mr. Barlow, clearly if the landlord's going to repair something in the apartment, so if she says, I'm going to call you back because the landlord is here to make sure he's fixing the right thing.
I'm calling at 10 p.m. and he there.
You calling at 10 and he's there. The landlord's at the house at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
And you
putting
know why,
together
Your
bids
Honor?
and stuff.
Because he doesn't have contract. He does things
So what his
in a
so-called girlfriend
three-story
thinking about
building
this?
himself.
The drama unfolds further with this revelation. Ms. Winslow recounts her desperate situation after being duped by another landlord, explaining how the current landlord allowed her to move in without an immediate rent payment due to her circumstances. This act of kindness is portrayed by Mr. Barlow as suspicious, suggesting ulterior motives, which leads to further debate about the landlord's role and intentions. The next part brings even more revelations.
Now, you gotta pay me $2,500 for rent, right? For what reason do I say, okay, you ain't got it, just give me $300?
This is what happened. When I moved into this apartment building,
man,
I had got duped by a crooked person. The landlord that I was supposed to move into the house in, I paid him $2,000. What I went to do is get my lights cut on, and they told me that the place that I was trying to rent, tell him I have no money. I just gave my $2,000 to a landlord that was crooked, and I can't even move in the house.
This moment is absolutely heart-wrenching. Ms. Winslow tearfully expresses her fears that her son was switched at birth, given his unexplained appearance differences. This emotional revelation comes after she faces constant public scrutiny and questions about her son's ethnicity. The idea of a hospital mix-up is so distressing that it pushes her to conduct personal research on the frequency of such incidents, hoping for answers. As emotional as this is, the conclusion will touch your heart even more.
I did a research online. Here.
Let me see that.
And
What did you
28,000 babies have been switched at the hospital, and find out later on that their parents aren't their biological children.
The fact that there are about 28,000 babies that get switched at birth in the hospital every year. And you have so much doubt, not just surrounding the paternity, but also as to whether or not you're the child's mother, because everywhere you go, people are asking you.
Everywhere I go.
The tension breaks with a moment of truth. In the final resolution, Judge Lake confirms Ms. Winslow's maternity with almost absolute certainty after reviewing the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.